They basically have to sign away our legal rights.
They want to be able to implement any changes that they want, period, right? Perpetuity, like forever, right? So it's something that we can never like redress. We can never come in and say, hey, all right, the way that we're doing this, right, isn't fair. You're not doing this in a way where it makes sense. You're not doing this in a way where it works together, right? Somebody somewhere is creating the metrics for whatever that system is going to be judging me on. We should have a voice in what that is.
Essentially, if they got what they wanted, our members would be paying dues for nothing, because we wouldn't be able to fight for them in certain circumstances, terminations or even bargaining for contracts, livable wages, healthcare,
Health and safety.
They want to bust the union. They want to have say-so over everything without us having any input into the safety and how this place is run. Now, how are you not going to trust your own workers? What is your goal and what is your purpose? What purpose is it serving to go to war with your own workforce?
I'm very interested in this lockout. I want to know, from your perspective, what is this about? Why are people saying that BP is being unfair to the union workers? What is unfair?
That's just a blatant attack on union workers. BP's just put out their first quarter profits. They were through the roof. Fortunately for them, we were in the refinery for most of that quarter. They brought some individuals from Beaumont, Texas. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, the refinery down there, they locked out union workers, they locked out their workers for 10 months, maybe a little bit longer.
Okay.
Same guys that were part of that, orchestrating that, are now here in Northwest Indiana, and they're doing the same thing to us. Same game plan.
And what was the result of that lockout in Texas?
So the result for Texas, for Beaumont, was they essentially got, the company essentially got what they wanted out of it. They didn't break the union, but they got them to take a deal that they didn't want to take. Now, the big difference between Beaumont, Texas and Northwest Indiana is Beaumont, Texas was 51% union density, 100% here. Everyone here is a voluntary union member, pays dues. Not to mention, we are in the heart of union, the community.
Yeah.
I think they made a huge mistake trying to come to this community, and they're not just, they are impacting the workers, but they didn't pick a fight with just workers and their families. The community has come through strong for us, and that's what it's gonna take to get through this and win this fight.
It could go on forever if the community continues its support. How are you going to be able to make sure that it does end and in your favor?
Well, we're gonna continue doing what we're doing. We're working day and night. We've got our picketers out here holding down the line for us. 24/7 operations. Like I said, we've got the community support. We've had lots of donations, monetarily, food. We've got our food pantry here. We're trying to take care of our members with financial issues, stuff like that, because we've gone now. I think without 2 paychecks now, maybe going on to the 3rd. I'm not sure, but
how can people support you?
We've got a support oilworkers.com, I believe is the thing. We've got a form here. Anyone can feel free to come into the hall whenever they would like. They come out. They can give their time. Monetary donations are huge for us. We can use those to help support our members. We can use those to help get food for the day-to-day operations here. We can get food for the pantry. We can use that in a lot of different ways. And then if they wanted to bring in cases of water, pop, certain things like that, they can do that as well.
Okay. SupportUnionWorkers.com.
Oil workers?
SupportOilWorkers.com.
Hey, Liz,
Okay.
Liz, what is do you got the paper with the support? Is it supportoilworkers.com?
If people wanted to support them.
Trying to read upside down. Got it. I think it's .org. Yeah, it's not, that's fine. I'll ask him.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get that in.
sorry, I didn't have that off the top of my head.
It's okay. Now, this is another tough question. How much monetary support does each union worker need in order to sustain this effort?
Well, it's, we've got a good strike and defense fund. We've got the trustees and the townships that the members live in that are helping financially with that. There's third-party organizations that are available to help. Every member's got, a different
Set of needs.
Yeah, set of needs.
Depending on how many members of their family they have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I can't give you a certain amount, but I can, we have the resources. And that's one thing we've done at the hall. We've reached out to all the townships, even aldermen in Illinois, to, one, let them know that our people are going to be coming for assistance, to give them kind of a heads up, and also, just to make sure that they are on the same page with our members that live there of what the process is, the application, what documents they need, stuff like that. And then we've got the support of our international as well. So.
Okay, International Union.
Yeah, USW.
USW. Okay. As far as what I know about what BP is trying to do, and maybe you can tell me what you know so I can expand on that understanding. So they're planning on cutting staff, even though you probably need more staff in order to service this area. Cutting wages across the board, outsourcing jobs, primarily, I've heard Texas. I've heard, or maybe it's just a lot of people coming in from wherever, outsourcing in general. But
So, some of the big things that they're trying to take from us is, like you mentioned, the jobs. This is our union mascot here.
I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
Cutting. At one point it was, I think, up to almost 200 jobs, and now I think it's right around 100. There's been back and forth on that. Wage reductions across the board, like you mentioned. Getting rid, a lot of language in there to try and take away our right to bargain,
Which is like the whole thing of a union.
the whole basis of the union is to be able to bargain and basically step up for the membership to fight against corporations that get greedy.
Can you talk about an example of bargaining that they are gutting with their side of the proposal? How exactly are they getting rid of that ability?
They basically ask us to sign away our legal rights to bargain across the board.
So you're basically no longer allowed to be a union, but we'll give you the name of. You can continue to be calling yourself USW-7.
Essentially, if they got what they wanted, our members would be paying dues for
Nothing.
because we wouldn't be able to fight for them in certain circumstances, terminations or even bargaining for, contracts and stuff like that.
Okay.
Livable wages, healthcare, benefits.
Health and safety.
Health and safety.
Yeah. I heard that they want people working, already people are working 4 12-hour shifts, and then they want an additional 4-hour shifts whenever they want. Is
So
that
we
correct
know,
information?
so it's different across the board for us. Our maintenance workers generally work an 8-hour shift Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
Our operators, lab technicians, and a few other jobs work 12-hour shifts already. We work a 3-2-3 schedule. Lots of overtime already on that
Yeah.
schedule that we work. Yeah, I mean, it's so, I don't think necessarily that they're trying to, I know that there's been back and forth about overtime talks and how they can pay it. They don't want to pay the double time. They don't want to canvass for overtime if your relief doesn't show up. A lot of safety issues. That's the big thing is these jobs can't be unmanned, and they've tried to basically tell us that, what's funny is when we were in the refinery, if you had an emergency situation at home and you wanted to leave, but no one would come in to cover you, you just couldn't leave because you could never abandon a job. But now, all of a sudden, it's okay because they don't want to pay the overtime.
Yeah, so that is not safe.
No, absolutely not. We hold them accountable as far as, Title V deviations where I don't know if you saw a few days ago, all of our flare stacks go into the atmosphere. The flares are meant to burn off hydrocarbon, but obviously when it's overwhelmed, it's not burning off what it should be. So while we're in there, we hold them accountable. Now, to go back to the thing with the replacement workers, a lot of the workers they're bringing up are from Texas, from Arkansas, Louisiana, and there's a few accounts that they've changed it. We've had some members go in and kind of give them a hard time on the postings, but LinkedIn and Indeed, stuff like that, job sites where they want to pay. So it's never been about money because they want to pay $127 an hour.
Correct, yeah.
$127 an hour for no refinery experience needed to come up here and do a job that's extremely dangerous in the middle of a community. This refinery is not just out somewhere by itself. This is built in the middle of a community.
It is dangerous.
So it brings a huge hazard to the surrounding area.
They blocked out a workforce that's razor focused on no damage to people, no damage to the environment, and no damage to the equipment. In lieu of these people that they got in right here, that they say have 80,000 hours of training, you're talking about 450 people that is included in that 80,000. So that's 80,000 divided by 450 divided by 24. That's about 7 days of training. We got 10 years worth of, on average, of experience. 300 hours of training every year. So you multiply that, that's over hundreds of thousands of hours of training in lieu of their so-called 80,000 hours of training, which is not really 80,000 hours of training. It's divided among, like I said, 450 people that they say they have in there right now. I apologize.
That's totally fine. It brings me to a point that I read about. Basically, under the union workers, the production of oil was 460K
480,000 barrels a day.
versus about 350K.
That's on the high side.
They're down to about 130 right now.
No kidding.
I don't think they've gotten very far above 300,000 barrels. They say safe, reliable operations will continue to lower out. They keep putting these EIBs into the community, blatant lies and propaganda. And it's like I said, it's absolute lies. They've not run. I mean, so that's to that point, with what's going on overseas right now, that's kind of benefited them because of the price of oil going up, so high. But also on top of that, this refinery is a major supplier for O'Hare Airport, Midway airports, a whole lot of it's an asset to a lot of places, you know, in the surrounding areas. And we've been operating off of surplus right now. And eventually, or even maybe now, because I don't know if you've seen the gas pump, I filled up, I think 2 days ago, it was $3.58. Now we're almost at $5.
Yes, I was driving down there, it's $5 here. That's crazy.
So, I don't know if maybe are the surpluses gone away and now they're, this is what we're dealing with.
I had a thought, but I forgot. So, yeah, it's crazy to have to deal with their, basically deal with those high prices just because, in my understanding, because of their greed.
It's absolutely, it's corporate greed. You know, that's the number one thing here. Lining the pockets of shareholders and the CEO that just took over is now making double what a predecessor.
That was one of my questions.
Yeah.
So, how much does the average worker at BP actually make versus the executive?
So, without being stuck here on holidays and overtime, I think the average, I believe what my pay comes out to is about $90,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the overtime's available, and people want to work it and make more money, there was room to do it. But the upper tiers of leadership are where all that money goes.
I see, yeah. And so that upper tier is what, 500? That, you know, those executives.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
know
know.
those
I don't know
numbers.
what our leadership here, as far as like our business unit leader or operations managers or anything. I don't know what their pay is, but I know that.
Well, what's important to me is what the pay of the executives of BP are, because they're the ones who control this situation, and who are basically gutting the rights of workers to organize. And this country used to be.
Well, it's a British country putting American workers on the street.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why it's a grudge. No, not really. It's greed.
No, it's absolutely great.
But one of the few unionized British petroleum refineries in the United States. We need to hold on to this.
Largest in the Midwest.
And the largest in the Midwest. So it's very important. It's, in my opinion.
It absolutely is. I mean, this and to go back to these replacement workers, understand that they're coming up here making a ton of money and being taxed in their home states and taking
Right.
the income back to down south with them. Not only is it affecting us here on the outside, but it's going to affect the communities, the economy, and it's just it's a bad deal overall
Mm-hmm.
for Northwest Indiana, Chicago.
Yeah. And maybe for some of the union workers, are they caught in unstable situations because they don't have this pay? Are some people not taken care of because of?
So, I mean, it's case by case. I want to say as a whole, and most people have been here for a little while. 15 was the last work stoppage, but a lot of people saved up in preparation. But everyone's case, case by case is different, right? So, so any type of financial stress is a hit, right? I mean,
Yes, right.
You go from making a good living to zero.
Yeah.
And then being denied by the state thus far, we're appealing and trying to fight it for unemployment, because under the lockout circumstances, we might not get it. So that's another thing that the board here at the hall is working hard on trying to get, amongst other things. But yeah, I mean, anytime you get into any financial stress, it's definitely a hit.
Well, those are all my questions. Do you have anything that you want to say? I guess you got that pink
Yes,
slip.
so, yeah, the website to donate and support us is www.supportoilworkers.com.
Okay. All right. Anything?
Boycott BP.
Boycott BP.
Right
Yes. All right.
Heard
Thanks
them
for
at the
watching.
pump.
What's that?
Said, heard them at the pump.
That's right. Do not go to BP. That is key. Are there BP subsidiaries that, you know?
Yeah, Thornton,
We
Travel
are,
America,
we are trying to come up with a list.
Travel America, Thornton, and Amico are all directly BP assets.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
They had buses for people to go to the picket lines. So I decided to take one and do an interview out on the front lines.
Yeah, it's crazy. We went to the strike in 2015, and I was here for that one too, and I never thought we'd be in this situation. 2 times in my career. You know?
Wow. Yeah. They wanna basically pay as less as possible, least amount.
Well, I think their biggest thing is they just completely want to dismantle the union.
Right.
That is their main.
Crush it.
That is their main objective in all this.
It seems like it. As far as what I've heard, taking away collective bargaining. Thank you.
I wouldn't say prison.
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna be famous.
Yeah, I'll be fired.
It's all good. You're beautiful. No worries.
I've been drinking milk.
Okay, so very much under the influence.
Very much so. Very much so.
So what is your name?
John Pavlinak.
John Pavlinak.
Yes.
And we're standing out here because there's a lockout.
Yes.
And how is it affecting you?
Well, it's affecting me. First of all, I have to be here, right? So I could be in there working, doing what I'm supposed to do, what they spent at this point, you know, quite a bit of money training me to do. But instead now they're bringing in other people, spending money training them in the hopes that after 7, 8 years, some of us 15, 20 years, that they might somehow gain the experience and knowledge that we gained in that time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm standing out here watching them spend money on all these people standing at the gate, all these people coming in. We were talking about it earlier. I'm watching them pay 5 people to do a job that they expected me to do by myself. So that's why I'm here.
So it's not about the money in that way, right?
It's about the money to me. My family's lost 80% of its income, so it is about the money. But what I'm saying is there seems to be plenty of money, because I can look right here and tell you that there's 7, 8 security guards standing out there that aren't normally there, aren't normally being paid. So that's 7, 8 of us that could be out there, which most of these guys could tell you for a complex is generally about a crew. So there's plenty of money going around.
So this guy, this Honda is recording us? We got all these security guards. So these security guards aren't normally here. Is that right?
No, they're not normally there. Usually what we've got is you've got the plant security that's in the gatehouse proper.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But because of the lockout,
Yeah, they're afraid that, you know, we being the people that we are, they're worried that we might do something to be bad.
I see. Yeah, I'll work.
That's not the people that we are,
Right.
but
Right. And is it right that they just want to basically take away the right to collectively bargain
Yes.
of the union? Right.
Yes, at the end of the day, right, there is more to the story than what they are telling you, okay? We were talking about it earlier. They want to implement AI, right, without any voice on our side, without anything. And not only that, right, they want to be able to implement any changes that they want, period, right, in perpetuity, like forever, right? So it's something that we can never like redress. We can never come in and say, hey, all right, the way that we're doing this, right, isn't fair. You're not doing this in a way where it makes sense. You're not doing this in a way where it works together, right? Somebody somewhere is creating the metrics for whatever that system is going to be judging me on. We should have a voice in what that is. Who knows the jobs? Who knows the responsibilities? Who knows the things that we're supposed to be out there doing? So if I'm going to be judged, if I'm going to be looked at in a certain way because I didn't meet this metric or that metric, I should have a say-so in what their metrics are, right? And then how much money is being spent on that? Even implementing a system like that. When is it necessary? How many years has the refinery ran without it? Is this place not making money? Right? We just seen on the first quarter last year, they made 1.38 billion, right? First quarter this year, they made 3.2 billion. So obviously money is not an issue here. There's plenty of that to go around. And in the commodity-based business, how are you going to sit and argue about whether or not you're making money 1 minute when the next minute could be totally different, right? 1 minute oil $70 a barrel, and then something happens somewhere else, and oil's $120 a barrel. So how can they sit there and say what we're worth from 1 minute to the next? Because the industry, right, is going to tell you that what I'm worth just doubled, supposedly, right? If oil went from $70 a barrel to $120 a barrel, then the job that I do to refine that barrel of oil should have doubled too. Does that reflect in my check? No. And if you want to complain about the money that you lost last year, then let's talk about the money that you made in 22 and 23. But you don't want to talk about that. Things like that aren't ever going to be said. Did we get any extra consideration for that? No, the only consideration we got is our asses are out here. Does that sound like consideration to you?
Not really.
No.
So I want to just, the main thing that they want to do, they want to replace the union workers' voice with AI systems that will track people's metrics. Is that correct? And
so essentially, if I'm going to spend a bunch of money on a whole bunch of AI cameras around here, right?
Yeah.
They have to serve a purpose, right? And the only way that's going to serve a purpose is if you try to tell it how I'm supposed to do my job, right? Whether that's how I do it from a safety perspective or whether that's how I do it from a routine perspective. Or else all them cameras are worthless. They don't do anything. Now what I'm telling you is if you're going to do that, somebody's got to build metrics into them cameras to tell them what I am supposed to do or how I'm supposed to be doing it, right? How much money does all of that cost? How much better could that money be spent training me in supposedly something that I'm insufficient in, or training him in something he's supposedly insufficient in, right? But instead you're going to spend it on a bunch of cameras to tell you what? To do what, right? It's senseless. All of this is senseless. They're spending twice as much money as they would need to tell us that somehow we're not getting the job done. When if you look at the money that they're making year in and year out, not yesterday, right? Because it's a commodity-based business. So the money will change by the minute and always has.
Yeah.
But somehow you're going to say that you keep needing this to do this or this to do that. When we beg for equipment to be fixed, it doesn't get fixed. When we ask for training, when we ask for different things, none of this gets done. But instead, apparently, what you're worried about is how we're going to track what I'm doing right now. And that apparently you can spend an endless amount of money on. But you can't spend it on your workers and you can't spend it on your equipment. Right? Now you're talking about you want to get rid of environmental techs. Well, take a good look around. Does that make sense to do at a 135-year-old refinery? I would say that those are probably some of the most important guys here. Right? The I&E guys that work with this equipment, the operation guys that are out here, and they know the sounds of those pumps. They know the smell of that unit. They know how the place is supposed to operate from the minute that they walk out there. You're telling me you can bring somebody from Louisiana or Texas that's going to provide that value? How many years is it going to take for them to learn that? How many years is it going to take for them to understand that, right? You can't just bring people in off the streets to come do this job. And if I live in Whiting or East Chicago or Hammond, I'm asking some serious questions about why they think they can. Because they can't. And that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. And I was just reading this morning how the actual amount of barrels that are being produced is far less, at least 100K less than under union workers.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because especially with oil at $120 a barrel and the margins on jet fuel and everything else being what they are, how much money are they losing from us standing out here?
Right.
Right? So is that fair? Is anybody having that conversation? No, they're not. Now, somebody from London or whatever, what have you, because I guarantee if we were behind them gates and we were running 100,000 less barrels, well, there'd be hell to pay. And they'd want a lot of answers. Now, all of a sudden, there's nobody down here trying to figure out them answers. Why? How much money are they going to lose while we're standing here at this picket line losing money without any help? Because nobody's going to hire people that are locked out because they know that whenever this place decides to change its mind, they're going to come back, right? So we got to suffer for what? So that they can make less money? That don't make any sense no matter what way you flip it.
The only thing that I can think of for the reason is they want to have basically...
They want to bust the union.
They want to bust the union.
They want to have say-so over everything without us having any input into the safety and how this place is run. Now, how are you not going to trust your own workers? What is your goal and what is your purpose? What purpose is it serving to go to war with your own workforce? Now, that don't make any sense no matter what. It's certainly not safer for anybody involved.
I think they want to protect all of their money. And if they have a bunch of security cameras, if they have a bunch of guards, and they have no workers' voice, then the workers can't rebuttal to their cutting of wages or cutting of workers' bargaining rights. So,
well, if you look at everything that's going on, right, there definitely appears to be some form of attack on union labor in Northwest Indiana, if not across the country, right? And what purpose does that serve? You know, at one point in time, what was it, in the 70s, 80s? Like the union, you know, the percentage of union workforce was somewhere around 30%.
Yeah.
They already got it down to 6%, and for some reason that ain't good enough either. And I hate to break it to anybody, especially in this area, the union sets the wage scale. So whether you're union or not, right? If we get nailed down, you're going to get hurt on the next one, right? They may not have gotten to you yet, but if they're coming after us, they're coming after you too. And anything we lose, you're losing as well. So be careful who you're rooting against, because you're going to be standing on this same line in one way or another soon enough.
right. Well, thank you for the interview. And I just want to say we have to have everyone in the region has to show support for
100%.
for these people being locked out. It's like you said, it's coming for you.
Yeah, it may be here now, but it's coming for you too, right? So be careful what you wish for.
And I think, honestly, there should be more unions. We should bounce back from this unionization at 7%. We should go to 30%. We should go to 50%. But I guess it could involve more manufacturing, or we can be more creative and put it into service industry jobs too, like Amazon does. There's a lot of union attempts there, but the big cats, the fat cats, they want to keep all their money. They don't want people to be able to choose their hours, to be able to have a work-life balance. And I think it's a shame. And if you think it's a shame, the website is supportoilworkers.org, I believe.
Okay.
You can go and you can donate and help out these union workers during this lockout. Thank you so much.
No problem.
For your interview.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.